So here we are, part 3 of grip pressure. I hope you guys enjoyed the first 2 installments. Now we've got one of the best for last, right? And it's this trail hand, right? This culprit of a trail hand who I'm sure you've all felt. You've felt your trail hand misbehaving in your golf swing at different points in the swing. I know I can remember playing with my dad, and he was always cussing at his hand, knowing that it was doing something it was not supposed to do, almost like if it was a whole other person. But let's go ahead and figure out exactly what that trail hand is doing in these great golf swings, okay? So we're looking at the graph of the amateurs, and then we're looking at the professional graph. And we definitely notice, if you just look at the bottom, bigger dotted white lines, look at how much less the professional is doing with their trail hand. And there's obviously that big valley that we referenced in the first video, right? So it's really doing very little after transition. But look at how much more the amateur golfer, right, the slicer, their trail hand grip pressure is starting very soft, but climbing, 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 and then it crescendos at transition. So it's doing something that's pretty wildly different, where the professional golfer, we see a slight increase, and then we see a plateau. We see a lot more steadiness in what that trail hand is doing. So really the thing to do and to learn and to know there is to make sure that that grip pressure is constant in that golf swing. What we would see some of the best golfers in the world doing, like Ben Hogan talked about, these were the swing wreckers, right? If you started pinching and gripping down. So golfers like Hogan, he would hit balls with his forefinger and thumb off the club. Annika Sörenstam would hit balls like this. I hit balls like this a lot growing up. I remember often hearing stories about different golfers that I thought were so interesting. Story about Billy Casper, right? He's maybe 5th on the all-time PGA Tour win. He would not even shake people's hands in person because he felt like it developed his right hand too much. Forearm, wrist, hand. I remember Johnny Miller telling a story about why his PGA Tour career came to a somewhat abrupt end, earlier than most. And he went to work on his ranch in Utah. He was building, cutting wood, carpentry work. He goes, as soon as I got done from a summer of working there, my hands had developed more strength and they felt different. And that's what he felt like changed his career to where he couldn't hit the ball the same way as years past. He developed too much strength in his hands that he wasn't used to. So you go, what does that all mean? They're very conscious and conscientious of not changing that grip pressure with their trail hand, especially from the top to start back. So the drill would be to just kind of be able to take some practice swings at first. Take your forefinger and thumb off the club, okay? Got a little L here. I'm just gripping with the 2 fingers of the middle of my right hand, okay? That's all that's holding the club, forefinger and thumb off. Now I can start to move the club in a fashion that would feel a lot more like that professional graph, okay? I'm not pushing with my right arm. I see a lot of this. Right at the top, we'll see some students really flare their right elbow. The club crosses the line. Sometimes they'll flare and they'll push, and we'll start to see some heaving motion to start down. I see a lot of golfers get to the top and they look okay, and they start to yank down and push with their right hand, kind of get this pull down, and they start to get stuck as they come down. So there's many things that right hand can do that we're not necessarily aware of. And the problem is, you might all be trying to fix these positions, but really the hand is creating force that's making the positions occur. So if we can change the force that the hand's, inputting onto the club, onto the grip, we can change the positions in the golf swing. So forefinger and thumb off, a couple little practice swings to get a feel. Obviously, it's not something that you got to hit the ball very hard, but I can feel right away, wow, my body wants to really move this golf club. If the body's not willing to move, this right hand, it's like the big brother, he's going to go and do everything for it. So the body's got to be willing and able to move back and to move through. And let's go ahead and hit one. Be careful when you start down. Don't re-grip with your forefinger and thumb. They are off the whole time, and we are just going to be coasting to our finish. That felt really good, super solid, and I could feel the club was just undisturbed all the way back, all the way through.
Hey, it's your coach Zach Allen here, and I hope you're enjoying today's lesson. After thousands of student lessons, I've discovered that the single weakest link in your golf swing is your brain. You see, our brains control all of our movements, but as it turns out, they aren't naturally wired for the golf swing. And until you fix this, your body will simply refuse to do what the brain is asking. The good news is there's an easy fix. Since I don't have the time in this short video, I've put together a 3-part mini clinic where I walk you through a simple process that will rewire your brain, giving you the control you need for a consistent golf swing. I call it the Consistency Clinic, and you can get the entire thing free of charge by clicking the link in the description below. The training series isn't available anywhere else, so go ahead, click the link right now, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, now let's get back to today's lesson.
You see a lot of golfers nowadays too doing different versions of that drill where they've just got their hand on the club like this. Some even do it like this, but it's just a way to really get that right hand to cooperate and do what you're supposed to do. So if you've ever thought that your right hand is flipping at the bottom, throwing from the top, yanking down, whatever it could be doing, right? Give that drill a shot and get your grip pressure under control so we could see a graph that looks much more like that professional graph, which is a steady, stable right hand, only doing what it's supposed to do. I hope you enjoyed that whole session on grip pressure. I thought it was very interesting. Feel free to comment down below. I've got links for the first and second video here if you want to check those out, just to kind of get a recap on what we talked about then. But monitor your grip pressure, you guys. It's the invisible force that's occurring that you might not be aware of that's actually messing up your golf swing. Definitely, if you've got things in there that you've never been able to change, there's a good chance your hands are to blame, right? And that change in grip pressure.